You have a problem. That problem is not going away. Not only do you have a problem, you have this problem as bad as it's going to get.
So I'm super excited about today because we're going to master some very important stuff. So without further ado, I'm going to pass this over and do an interview style with the man himself, Oren Klaff. Oren, thank you so much for taking the time with us. Oren, what I want to first ask you about is basically your background. How did you become such a good deal maker? How did you start learning and mastering the deal making process?
You know, I was forced into it. Necessity is the mother of invention and high stakes. My partner was a very wealthy guy, and he would put down hard money, $2, $3, $4 million, to lock up an asset. He'd go get the debt for an asset. So maybe get $20 million of debt. My job to go get $10 million of equity. And he would leave me a very short amount of time to do it. So the normal ways of going out and pitching investors, getting in a room, buying them lunch, walking them through the slides, answering their questions, following up, it's just not possible to get the amount of money that he signed us up for. And so I had to invent new ways of doing it. Unfortunately, I lived in the Hollywood Hills. Queen Latifah was my neighbor. So I sort of had access to Hollywood professionals. So I combined psychologists, neuropsychology, acting, my own background in engineering, and just cobbled together something that works. And that's what ended up with the kind of stuff we'll talk about today.
So what I want you to first hit on for everyone is the concept of inceptive selling. And I want us to zoom this out because I know that we're talking about, oftentimes we'll apply this to sales or high stakes negotiation, but we also have a lot of attorneys and business owners on this call who want to actually implant an idea into maybe their team, their staff, in addition to maybe in their sales or intake process or in a high stake negotiation, or also in their marketing. I see so many people like not looking over this, the fact that you can actually implant beliefs into your audience through your content marketing. But talk to us about what is inceptive selling.
So inceptive sales or these inceptive techniques come from when you get into high stakes situations, especially I think lawyers, service providers don't have a continuous stream of potential clients, a very rich pipeline in which you can just develop a script, throw the script out and say, this is my conversion rate. I'm just trying to improve my conversion rate. Many of these meetings are do and die, right? And so inceptive selling really lowers the risk profile of giving the features of your firm the background, the representative logos that you've worked with, your track record, how you're differentiated, what guarantees you have, how you're better than anybody else, and what your value is, and then saying, so what do you think? All the objections come out, and then you're trying to overcome those objections of why you're better. And lawyers are busy and they can't do a little takeaway. So that type of selling to me is very high stakes. What we need to do is put the idea of working with us in their brain and have them come up with the question, hey, so how do I work with you? When can we get started? Will you take me on? And so if you think about the sales that happen in our office, in our building today, a guy will come in, we'll talk to him for half an hour, he'll leave. Many times he'll come back in and go, scratch his head, and you can just see, the seeds that we planted in there, or the little bots, and he'll go, here's a check for $50,000. Let's get started on Monday. It's fascinating because we don't have anything that we sell for $50,000. Like, they just come up with a number that they think is enough to get a contract going. They're so desperate to begin working with us. So you put the ideas of working with you in their mind, let them rotate and cogitate in there until they come up with the idea of working with you. That's ideal because the risk and the stakes are so low.
Let's say, take one practice area vertical, maybe injury, family law, criminal defense, and how would we reverse engineer the implanting of the idea of working with our law firm for a law firm?
Where I think service providers go off is their instinct, or especially attorneys, they instinctively know they need a narrative but they sort of get their narrative wrong. So I want to just give you a short narrative and sort of fix the organization or the mechanical flow of information. When I mainly work to develop these techniques, I worked with a cognitive psychologist. Cognitive psychologist doesn't really care about feelings, ideas, what you're feeling, what your target is feeling. They're more like researching the judge of the mind, how information flows through the mind. So they said to me, Oren, you don't understand how information flows through the mind. And so they help me understand the ideas of narrative. So I have a 7-year-old, and since 4 years old, we get everything to our house on Amazon. So every day, the doorbell will ring or we come home to something like this, right? And it's a bunch of boxes. And for young children, hope springs eternal. So he rushes to the door. He rips into these boxes with reckless abandon, so excited to see what's in there because we let him open the boxes and it's toothpaste, pens, paper, shaving cream, just the stuff you needed to run a household and an office. And so there's never anything good for him in there. But because it's a box and it's unknown to him, he's always scrambling to see what's in it. Hope springs eternal. So one day I decide, this is an F350, kind of hard to see the size of this, to get him the master box of all boxes. You can see it here in our living room. I put a little note for him on it. And he comes out and he sees the biggest box you've ever seen, and his little brain explodes. Because this one he knows is for him, and he knows it's not a normal size box, and he tears into it. And this is one of the things in it is a race car, and this is him out on the racetrack, 6 years old. So what you're seeing here is the problem with if I took everybody in this call and I ran through their presentation, what you're going to see is really no setup. They're not putting a box in front of the a potential buyer and say, in this box is something unquestionably exciting, and setting up the scenario, right? Once the setup is done, raising the stakes or building intrigue, and then finally, once they're salivating and excited and interesting, revealing what's in it. What you will see if I go through 30, 40, 50, 60 of your presentations, Bill, to the people around you, you'll see they start with what's in the box, the reveal. So another way to think about it is setup is the beginning, reveal is the end, right? And intrigue is the path to the payoff. And that is what is fundamentally missing in most service providers. They just don't know how to hold the intrigue back long enough to reveal what it is they actually have. So we can talk about some ideas for that, but those mechanically will go a long way to fixing most of the presentations that people are wobbling around with. Hold back what it is you have, the magic. Let them be excited about ripping open the box and seeing what's in it.
On their terms, I'm assuming.
Well, I mean, on you're controlling so when you're setting up inception in the buyer's mind, right? The thing that we have to make clear is you control the sandbox and they run around maniacally inside the sandbox doing whatever they want. You put the toys in the sandbox, you create the boundaries of the sandbox, and then they have autonomy to do whatever they want inside the sandbox. That is an abstract term. We can make that real in the next couple of minutes, but that is the rules of inception. They have autonomy to do anything they want within the situation that you've created. So now I think we're fundamentally have two massive shifts. What it is you're great at, your differentiation, what you can do, the things that really make you the best at what you are. That's the reveal. They have to earn that information. The setup is really how well you understand. The setup is how fast things are changing. What is changing externally? You have a problem. That problem is not going away. Not only do you have a problem, you have this problem as bad as it's going to get. And it's going to continue to get worse to the point where if it gets much worse, even I won't be interested in talking to you. And fortunately, you're talking to the one person today who could be better at this than anybody else in the world. That's the setup structurally. You have a problem. I'm way inside of this problem. And so if you want to get in somebody's head, that is the setup that then allows you to move into intrigue about what it is you have. And the actual things that you probably are saying today at the beginning of your presentation are the things that go to the end because you don't know what to say at the beginning.
Yeah, I
I know
do
you
want to
have
get to the outline of the
Yeah.
flip the script process, status
Yeah.
alignment, flash roll, big idea, plain vanilla. And
Yeah.
then once you go through them, I want to double click on the buyer's formula as it would pertain to a law firm and hear your thoughts on that. So first question would be like, what is the actual outline of the process that you created? And then second is the buyer's formula for a law firm.
So I think this might be quite a big volume of material. Let me work through some of the easier stuff.
Yep.
I think we just gave the major structural levers to create inception, a situation where the buyer goes, when can we start working together? The missing piece from there is, I think, two things. One is what I call a status tip-off. The example I use in the book, and I think one that's very easy for people to recognize is for example, if you offered me a cigar, I might smoke one cigar a year, right? And I look like an idiot, right? I'm like, yeah, great, I'll take one, and I don't know which end of it to peel. I don't know how to tap it. I literally don't know how to light it. I have to have somebody light it for me. I don't know what drink to have with it. I don't hold the right body language for somebody who smokes a cigar, right? In the cigar world, I'm a low status individual. In the cigar world, I'm a low status individual. Compare that for a moment to somebody who really does, smoke a cigar a day. Or you hand him the cigar, he taps it, he curls it, he brings this thing in the pocket, he cuts it, he smells it. There's a right amount of time. Like guys who know cigars can intimately recognize each other, like two alien species just going, we are men of the cigar. And I admire it, and it's sort of a high status, and they know, are you going to McClellan 40-year or single malt, double whiskeyed, oak barreled, Scottish, Irish, Ireland, Scotland whiskey with this kind of, as you can see, I don't know this area, but you can imagine in your mind, guys who really know this, right? So even in the cigar world, which is not a world, there is high status and low status individuals. So I think when a client comes in, you have to have the ability to tip off that you're in their world. This is why clients walk away, is they believe you, they believe winter is coming, they believe you have experience, they believe you offer the value, they believe in your credibility, they've been referred to you, but they don't know if you are really intimate with their world, their problem, their industry, their particular piece of, whether it's been a traffic stop where they got tasered, unfairly, more likely a corporate issue. Until they believe that you are a cigar smoker of their caliber in whatever it is they're doing, they can't decide to go with you reliably. You can't give them autonomy. You still have to force them to go with you. You can't give them autonomy because they'll always go to that little corner of their mind and goes, this guy, Bill, is awesome. He knows what he's doing. He's capable. He's young. He's energetic. He comes on time. He's got good credentials. He's, the cost is more than reasonable. But does he really know my problem? And then the mind starts to bring in lots of questions. You cannot give them autonomy. The whole methodology of Inception relies on giving somebody autonomy to decide. And unless they believe your high status in their particular thing, and everybody has something. Soccer. So my little boy, as you saw, races these little Formula 5 cars. The first day, I didn't know what, I put the tires on backwards. We didn't know how to mix the fuel. And anybody on the whole racetrack could identify us in a second and go, these idiots. And people were rushing over to stop me from killing my son by putting the wrong, the tires on backwards. Today, 2 years later, we go out on the track and we're that guy. We unload, we have a big van, we're high-fiving the mechanics. They don't charge us anything to go on the track. My son, goes out there and he's looking over his data with the most advanced racers, and I'm unloading the car and I have a mechanic with me, and we look like the guys because we are them now. So whatever it is, think about it, whatever it is in your life that you're that guy or that gal, and then complete that thought cycle in your business. So somebody walks in with their problem, can you show that you're high status in their problem area? So that's critical. And then you have to, in the flip the script process, you have to then roll that into the idea of locking that in with certainty. If they go with you, they don't have to. Lots of ways to solve this problem. You can just go, Judge, I did it. Fucking put me in jail. Do the crime, do the time. Well, I guess in our system, they don't even allow you to say that. Then they assign you a lawyer. But so a plaintiff or a client can just go, I'm going to do it myself, right? All this legal stuff is nonsense. You went to school for 12 years for no reason. It's a big bunch of paper chase bullshit. I can do it myself. So that's an option. And you have to give them that option, right? Another option, and we do it all the time, we go, hey, listen, you want to work with Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Houlihan Lokey? We don't care, right? Because who do you think at Goldman Sachs wants your account? I'll tell you who wants it. Steve and Prajesh, who graduated from Stanford yesterday. That's who you get at Goldman Sachs. So you get to tell people, hey, we're working with Goldman Sachs, right? So you can tell your board member, you can tell your wife, you can tell your buddies, but also at Goldman Sachs, the entire commission for your entire deal after working on it for a year, that's what the real guys want to spend on 1 month travel and entertainment. Nobody at Goldman Sachs wants your crappy $3 million. But over here, it means a lot to us. But you decide. So you have to have the ability. So we give them authentic choices. And so they have to have certainty that if they choose you, you're the guy that can deliver. Certainty that if they choose you, you're the guy that can deliver. If you're familiar, let me help you out here. If you're familiar with this scene in my Cousin Vinnie, so I'll just play the scene for you. The prosecution is saying that this witness, Marissa Torme, can't provide any information to be helpful to the case, right? And so the defense says she's very qualified to comment on the type of car and the car she saw and the evidence of the case, right? And so he asks her a question about an automotive question that's unanswerable. Everybody's seen the movie, so you guys know the setup. And she answers this way, right? It's a trick question. Chevy didn't make a 327 in 55. The 327 didn't come out till 62, and it wasn't offered in the Bel Air with the 4-barrel carb until 1964. However, in 1964, the correct ignition timing would be 4 degrees before top dead center. That's what she says in answer to the question. And the judge says she's acceptable as a witness because she's given this flash roll. She says it's so fast and it's so detailed and it's so obvious that she is competent in this mechanical area, even though she doesn't look like it at all. She looks like a New York socialite, that she's incredibly competent and capable in this area. And she's given a flash roll that provides the judge certainty of her competence. Things that are said about the technical elements of their problem and their situation that are spoken not for comprehension, but for what I would not for comprehension, but for status and believability and certainty that this space better than anyone else. No one could have said that much technical detail talked about a problem that specifically, got way down into the bottom of the mechanics of the actual problem, and come up with a solution in that short amount of time, so specifically, unless they've done this 1,000 times.